For the full bonus episode, become a member on YouTube.
Blind Mike Geary!
Loyal gearhead, Germ. And I appreciate Jeremy. He always sends me stuff that I may not have seen happening in the comedy world. For example, I've listened to the Beautiful Boys podcast before with Mike Cannon and Andy Haynes, and this episode is featuring Brendan Sagalow as well. I've checked them out before, but I wouldn't say I listen consistently. And so luckily, Germ mentioned to me, he goes, hey, they talked about Skankfest and told a very interesting story about Matan Evan. You're familiar with Matan Evan, yes, Craig?
Oh, yes.
I'm starting to think, particularly based on the stories that they tell, I think he might actually be 18 years old.
Yeah, close to it.
Yeah,
For sure.
because people have sent me videos from a few years ago where he seems young. Like, it seems like in the time he's been on TikTok, he's gone through puberty. So I do think he's a kid. I always thought it was a bit. I thought it was like, oh, he's clearly a 25-year-old saying he's 17, which these guys pointed out. The fact that he's like 17, 18, it makes his appearance at Skankfest a little questionable, you know? Just around booze and drugs. He's a kid.
Oh. I was like, what did he do there? Well, that's how Chappelle started.
True. It was a different time back then. People weren't as fussy about that kind of stuff. But
Unrelated, related to Matan, did you see the clip? I know we're not talking about it, but with Gavin McGinnis?
No.
Gavin McGinnis was on, and Matan grabs a fire extinguisher and he's about to spray him with it. And McGinnis legit just stops what he's doing. He goes, no, you don't understand. I will go to jail for beating the fuck out of you if you spray me with that.
Did he stop?
Yeah.
that kind of relates to what the story we're telling today about Matan. I like Matan very much. I think he's very funny. I think he's a great troll, and I think often he is trolling people that kind of deserve it a little bit. And not deserve it in a bad way, but like they need to get their balls busted sometimes. David Lucas, Brian Callen, people like that come to mind. It's good leveling out to have someone like Matan out there, and I think he's very funny. But there is a line with people, and the reason I bring up his age is I think this is a very interesting learning experience for Matan Evan at Skankfest. So I guess the skirt said she saw him walking around and saw people posting pictures of him. I don't know if he did a show there or was on anyone's show or anything really. I guess we'll talk about one show he was on at least. But I didn't encounter him at all. But he made his appearance known. He was felt throughout Skankfest, I guess, and did not drop the character. So Mike Cannon is telling the story, and he had a lot of interaction with Matan, it sounds.
Did you see him do anything there? Or
No, I did not.
He was just observing.
Well, they're going to tell a story. He was on the show they're about to talk about. It was like the Skankfest beauty pageant or something like that.
Oh, good.
I don't know if he did other stuff. I imagine he did stuff like that, like drop-ins. I don't think he did like a live Matan podcast. That would have been interesting to see live
with an audience.
Yeah, but his boys were there too. Like the guy with the hoodie pulled up and the creepy eyes, like they were there, and none of them broke character. So let's get into Mike Cannon's description of this. And by the way, I like these guys, Beautiful Boys with Mike Cannon and Andy Haynes. I like both of these guys, and they seem like guys who've been in the business for a long time and don't have necessarily the success of some of their peers and are openly bitter about it. Like, you will get good shit talk from these guys on this podcast. So it is a good source for that at times.
Get pulled in my one set on Friday. They're like, you're not going to do this set in front of 300 people. Instead, you're going to judge Miss Skankfest with Jay, Matan, his terrorist, me, and Tommy Pope.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, that'll be fun or whatever. Matan and the other kid made it absolutely impossible to have fun, like on a microphone. Because Matan was throwing like hunks of ice onto the thing. He kept saying my name like out of nowhere while Lewis was talking, like just abruptly stopping any momentum in Lewis announcing the show or in any kind of
He would
jokes.
just say something and he'd go, Mike Cannon.
Yeah, literally, Mike Cannon, new show on Gob Digital. That's just what he was doing, which again is funny if you're not me in that
Gob
situation.
Digital.
He kept saying Gob Digital, which was really
so.
funny.
Does he say where
So like Cannon is in on the joke entirely, and even like he was getting annoyed by it, which that's the window that Matan fits through. Is I imagine he would be very annoying to be around, and I personally would hate that. I love watching Matan. I think he's very funny. If I were ever in a situation where I was interviewed by him, I would be so uncomfortable. But I think particularly for me, being blind, where he does like physical shit, where I'm always have to be like, okay, what's going to get, you're going to take my phone or what's going on here? Yeah, I'd be very on guard. But in general, I get why that's funny and I like that type of humor. But being involved in it, I would fucking hate.
You know for a fact, if you were ever on his show, his sidekick would just be, let's see how close I can get to him.
Wave, yeah, and I'm like, yes, I can't see it, but now I can, right when it's in my face. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it'd be. And like you said, it would be funny for everyone but the subject.
Yes, it would be exhausting and pleasurable for a lot of other people, and that's the tightrope act that Matan is walking.
But he is annoying.
Very annoying, and like purposefully so, which is why you got to give him credit for showing up to this, because people always say, like guys that get trolled a lot, it's like, oh, imagine if you saw me in public. I wonder whose voice I'm doing there. But like Matan shows up, and he's the same way with a lot of these people. As we'll learn, there is a line, it seems. But like credit to Matan for showing up, and he's like, no, I'm the same guy. By the way, we kind of cut off. Andy Haynes is about to ask a question. He goes, is he actually from Israel? And they explain like the accent is real because they saw him like have to deal with real life at one time, and he did not either. He's super committed or never dropped the character. And I think he's young. So what's funny about Matan is we're all like, oh my God, it's this amazing character. It might be the kid. We might be placating a deranged child.
That would be so funny.
So we do that. It's fine. The show is fun and entertaining enough, but he made it very difficult to be funny on it. Even Tommy was like livid. He was all eyebrows at one point. Jay is basically riffing by himself.
I'm gonna fucking beat the shit out of this kid.
He said that no less than 45 times. Like, he's just like, I've had enough. And I'm like, I believe
by the way, every podcast I've heard him on, I would say for the last 12 podcasts maybe that I've heard him on, he's shit-faced. I saw him live at Skankfest on Are You Garbage? He was hammered. So Tommy's always fucking out of it. And he has to deal with a child throwing ice and interrupting them on stage. And he's like, I'm gonna fucking kill this guy.
That description is so funny when he's like, yeah, he's being really annoying. He just keeps throwing ice on stage.
Yeah. And it's even funnier that he is a kid. I mean, I guess he's 18, so he's an adult now. But like weeks ago, he was technically a child.
Yeah.
Whenever I throw threats, they're empty.
Yeah.
When Tommy throws threats, they have like a kaboom behind them.
Delco.
Yeah. So he's pissed, whatever. We go upstairs after to the green room and we're hanging out with everybody. It's mobbed. We're hanging out with Voss, and Matan and his boys walk up. And I said something about like, oh, you guys are mortal enemies. You know, is something to that nature of like natural enemies being Israel and Palestine. I think.
Yeah.
And he, staying in character, Matan like grabs a piece of bread and throws it at Voss.
Ooh.
Like, and like hisses at him,
which is what Matan does. Like if you've ever like anytime Jews come up, that's what Matan does. So he's completely in character.
I like how he's like, and again, it is funny.
Cannon is fully in on it. Like he's aware. That's what I like about Cannon is he gets it. And like as they're talking about it, Sagalo has a hint of like, oh God, which I also get a little bit where it would be exhausting. But I think you have to appreciate, but you know, the way the world is going. Like I think the comedians that appreciate, whether it's Red Bar or Matan or Podcast Cringe or any of these guys, I think those are the smarter comedians, and you see the results of that. Like they clearly are able to handle that stuff better, and it's why they're not entrenched in online warfare where you're bringing YouTubers to court and all this horse shit.
But where he goes wrong is Voss isn't on his show, and he's just throwing shit at him in the wild. Like,
Voss is about to teach him a lesson.
Yeah.
Voss is about to teach him exactly where the line is. Back up a little bit, because Rich Voss, while Matan is a child learning about the world, Rich Voss is an old crackhead who's seen some things. So you forget, like, that comedy seller group, like, as much as they might be silly geese, like a lot of them you don't really fuck with.
Staying in character, Matan like grabs a piece of bread and throws it at Voss.
Ooh.
Like and like hisses at him, which again is funny.
Yeah.
It's funny in the context of the bit. If everybody knows what's going on.
People don't know this about Voss. He will throw hands.
I've watched him kick a comedian in the chest at a Christmas party.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
For fucking making a joke about his, at the time, I think 2-year-old daughter.
I think Cannon might have fucked that story up a little bit, because Voss did have a young daughter at the time, but he also has older daughters. So I don't know if that's who the comedian was talking about. But do you know the story he's referring to?
No.
Jason Canner, who is friends with like List and Normand and those guys. Good guy. I've seen him open for Joe List. He's pretty funny. But I guess like at the Comedy Cellar Christmas party, he was shit-faced. And he was trying to like give it to Voss. And that's going to be exhausting for Voss because of the Opie and Anthony show and Tough Crowd and that type of shit. Voss had to deal with a quarter century of strangers going up to him and calling him an idiot, you know?
Right.
And he handles it very well, and most of the time. But this instance, I guess Jason Canner was shit-faced and said something about Voss's daughter. And again, Voss teaching someone the line, I guess, spin kicked him in the chest. So Voss is known for teaching comedians lessons.
Next, we have Just a Boy.
Yeah, so this is where you realize, like, he is a kid, even if he's like 22. Like, he's very young to be in this environment. So, like, Matan, you forget he's a kid and has a lot to learn, which I think this is ultimately like a good thing for him, probably.
Thank you. So he throws the bread, hisses at him, and goes to walk away. And Rich, like, moved faster than a young kid, immediately grabs the fucking kid and he's like, "You don't know who the fuck I am. What the fuck are you thinking? Get the fuck out of like inches from that." And the kid's like,
Was there anybody coming to Matan's rescue in that
everybody
way?
was trying to stop it. Nobody
Were
was
you trying to stop it?
No, I was laughing. Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And Matan, he has hands like Minnow, like he's a baby.
Yeah.
He's a child boy.
How old is he?
I don't know, but he's a baby. Like,
I think it's like 22 or something.
dude,
like
if
that.
you're
He's young.
close to him and you look at his face, you're like not even pubescent. Like, you're a boy. It's
Holy
crazy.
shit,
He
yeah.
literally had
That's where I'm like, I think he is 18 or 17. Like, I think he is a kid.
Yeah.
But that's first of all, shout out to Voss, who is, by the way, I think like 68 years old.
Yeah.
Like, Voss is an old man. So credit to him for getting in this kid's face and going, "You don't know who the fuck you're dealing with." It's kind of ballsy. Because, like, especially nowadays, like, you don't know what if this kid's into fucking jujitsu or any of that shit. So good for Voss for defending himself and being like, "Hey, knock it the fuck off." Also, I'm not going to ruin it. There's a funny line coming up. But Voss doesn't know who this guy is. So, and when you're at Skankfest, people just come up to you. Like, the comedians are intermingling with the fans. So for all Voss knows, I don't know how well versed he is in like Matan or his bit or anything, but for all Voss knows, this is just a fan that comes up to him and goes, "Hey, Jew," you know?
Yeah. But Voss wins.
Yeah, Voss got the better of him, I think, ultimately.
So Voss grabs Matan.
So Voss grabs Matan, says, "You don't know who the fuck I am," gets into it, and like doesn't relent. Like, it continues until the kid was like, my bad, whatever. So I
He
guess
said, "My bad." What did he say? He goes,
I forget
"I'm
what he
so
said.
sorry,
He's,
I'm so
he's
sorry."
like, "Oh, it was a joke," or whatever. I don't know.
Right.
So
So that's going to be tough for Matan too, where you think you have to stay in character, so you don't know where to draw the line. And in the future, the line will probably be just not throwing the bread, you know?
Maybe just hissing at him.
Yeah. But like, for Matan, you have the pressure of keeping up that image. Like, I also get that perspective where you're like, no, I have to go hard and I have to piss people off even when it's uncomfortable or whatever, because you're afraid of losing like whatever that character is. And Cannon even said, like, you can tell, like, at this point, he's been doing it so long and it's part of his real life. That's the amazing thing about, you know, Andy Kaufman type of guys. The difficulty of keeping that bit up, not 24 hours a day, but like anytime you're in public.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like anytime you might be recognized, that's got to be fucking exhausting.
Yeah, and when you have hair like that, you're pretty easy to spot.
Yeah.
But this is the last clip here.
Yeah, so there's a very funny Bonnie McFarlane line in here too, but also Matan gets into it with some more people.
So grabs Matan, they get separated. There's no real resolution because Bonnie was next to me and she's like, I bet if Rich knew how many followers he had, he wouldn't say it. He wouldn't care.
100% true, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, nice to meet you, Mr. Evan.
Well, maybe that was his way of getting booked on his show.
If it is, genius by Voss. Very smart.
Bonnie's so goddamn funny. So it's separate. It's whatever. He apparently, I guess, similarly agitated Shane later. Where I think Shane also kind of grabbed him and was like, "Who the fuck are you, dude?" Or somebody in Shane's circle. I wasn't there for
another
that.
Bad guy to fuck with. Shane's just a massive guy, but also at that festival, like a lot of those people aren't going to care who the fuck you are. They will swarm you if you fuck with Shane. You know, like he's a king among men there.
Right.
So yeah, people will like. They don't care if you're doing a funny bit or whatever. Like they're gonna swarm you. It was wild to watch Shane because he just had it was a beehive. There was a swarm around him at all times.
Are you, dude? Or somebody in Shane's circle. I wasn't there for that, so I can't really speak to it directly. But there were something like that to the point where after that kid put on a beanie. like a and then his hair flattened. He's like Matan, and he like walked up to Rich and explained. He's like, I broke character and was like, I'm joking. Like doesn't talk like me, but has still an accent. But
he did it later.
Later
in the day.
I'm just kidding. I don't mean any disrespect. It was just and like nobody knew who started it. It came out a day later that it was me.
Again, like lurking in the just giggling in the shadows as he started it. But that's like, I think that's ultimately a great learning experience for Matan, and I think he probably handled it right. Now the tough thing for Matan is I think a lot of his crowd, if they heard that story, would be like, "Oh, you fucking pussy," like that's the tough thing for Matan is like you can't really pull back and be like, "Hey, man, I'm sorry." With the audience, I think that he had. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm misjudging them. But
that's why in the wild you can't do shit like that,
right? Because you're gonna have to explain for it one way or the other. You're gonna have to explain to Voss or your audience for pulling back.
I think I'd rather tell the audience than Voss because Voss will say it for the rest of his life.
That's right. Yeah, I dominated that kid. Speaking of Shane and Voss at Skankfest, they were both on YKWd, Bobby Kelly's podcast, and Shane told a very funny story where Shane's touring and like books his friends as openers, and I guess his manager called him and said, "Hey, David Tell called me and reached out to me and said he wants to open for dates on your tour." And Shane was like, "Are you joking? Like, tell him any date. We'll kick people off. I don't give a shit. Yeah, like any date he wants." And then he said his manager called him back later and goes, "Yeah, it was Voss pretending to be a Tell." Trying to get booked.
You have to let him on after that.
I think he did. I think he said he got dates. So, so good for Voss.
Mike.net for everything blind Mike. Look at me. I did it. Kragers did it.